Cannabis Common Sense, the show that tells the truth about marijuana and the politics behind its prohibition.
Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Cannabis Common Sense. We have another great show for you tonight. Right to my left here is Mr. Casper Leach, the joint host. Welcome, Casper.
Happy Friday.
Over in the wings is John Cornett and Jan Sue Hurst. Welcome again, folks. Got a good song lined up.
Yes, sir.
We've got a couple of good hemp news stories. There's more progress every week. Casper and I were just chatting about how, we have more good news each week than we used to have in 1 or 2 months in the old days. But pretty abbreviated edition of hemp news tonight. But before that, we will bring on our dancing cannabis leaves.
Feel the force.
All right, our first story tonight is out of Denver, Colorado, the first place to start selling marijuana legally over the counter anywhere in the world, really. The Netherlands was always kind of a black or gray market, so Colorado is the first. But retail sales of cannabis this month in Colorado, actually in January, yielded an estimated $3.5 million in state tax revenue, according to financial data released online this week by the Colorado Department of Revenue. Under Colorado's law, commercial cannabis producers must pay a 15% excise tax, while retail customers must pay an additional 10% sales tax, on top of the state's existing 2.9% sales tax on any cannabis purchased at a licensed facility. Voter imposition of cannabis-specific taxes, or Proposition AA, passed this past November. For the month, customers spent an estimated $14 million on the purchase of marijuana and cannabis-infused goods at state licensed facilities. This figure is anticipated to grow larger as more and more facilities become operational. Colorado state law authorized the retail sale of cannabis beginning on January 1st to those aged 21 or older. That time, only 24 retailers were operational. By the end of January, nearly 60 facilities were up and running. Presently, over 150 licensed facilities are operational in the state of Colorado. Similarly, licensed retail operations are anticipated to be operational in Washington state by this summer. Here in Oregon, for medical marijuana, they have over 300 applicants and expect to issue their first licenses next week. Out of New York City, many Americans think sugar is worse for health than is marijuana, according to a new Wall Street Journal NBC News poll released this week. The poll participants were asked to rank the relative harms of alcohol, marijuana, sugar, and tobacco in the order of the most harmful to the least harmful in a survey of 1,000 American adults last week, reports Beth Reinhardt of the Wall Street Journal. Tobacco was ranked as the most harmful by 49% of respondents, with alcohol coming in second at 24%. Sugar was voted the third most harmful with 15%, while marijuana came in as the least harmful with just 8%. Respondents said they were more interested in following cannabis legalization stories in the news over other stories, according to NBC political director Chuck Todd. Todd said, quote, "Among the more shocking numbers to me was the legalization story. The idea that more and more states are moving to legalize medicinal marijuana or recreational use is a story, according to our poll, that's being closely followed more than what's going on in the Ukraine, than the healthcare rollout, than the battle over the same-sex marriage. Over 90% of the public say they are following the marijuana story closely." Again, only 8% of those surveyed said they believe marijuana is the most harmful to health. The poll possesses a margin of error of 3%, plus or minus. These results once again reaffirm that an overwhelming majority of American public understands that any potential risks associated with the use or abuse of cannabis are relatively minor to those associated with many other legal and regulated substances. Criminalizing cannabis and those who consume it responsibly is a disproportionate public policy response to what is, at worst, a public health issue, but not a criminal justice concern. Under federal law, marijuana is classified as a Schedule I controlled substance, meaning it has no medicinal properties and it's among the most harmful substances. Obviously, the public disagrees. We'll be talking more about ending adult marijuana prohibition, restoring industrial hemp, and helping medical marijuana patients here shortly. We're going to jump over to John Cornett, Jan Sue Hurst, who have a great song for us tonight.
Hey, Paul. I try to warn my friends that, although I abuse sugar at night, the sugar is one of the biggest drugs out there.
Now, is that an official Army or Air Force?
Yes, sir. This is my my next to last company I was with in the United States Air Force. Yeah.
It looked like
was,
an official
Air Training Command at Lackland Air Force Base, where I spent 2.5 years.
I see. Okay.
But he gave it to me, but I let him borrow it back.
Girl said.
My jacket.
We are many, we are strong. Can so many be so wrong? Giving in too many lies. Doesn't anybody really care why? Can it be that we are right? Can we be peaceful through this fight? All we really want to see is humanity set free. We're just one big family. Once united, we are free. Now's the time to make a stand. Do the best that each one can. Once awakened, we will see the potential of infinity, and abundance will be the norm when we are finally through this storm. Can it be that we are right? Can we be peaceful through this fight? All we really want to see is humanity set free. We're just one big family. Once united, we are free. Now's the time to make a stand. Do the best that each one can. Just one big family. United, we are free. Now's the time to make a stand. Do the best that each one can.
All right.
Thank you very much.
That's John Cornett, Jan Sue Hurst. Welcome to the show, Casper.
Thank you so much.
Welcome you viewers out there. If you have a question or comment for us tonight, you can call that number there on your screen, 288-4442. We'll be taking your calls up to the top of the hour. So we have the big tax revenue from marijuana. You know, that's what you keep hearing is money, marijuana, money, 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 taxes.
Well,
you know,
it makes me giggle, too, because of all these politicians from all these years say, well, there's no medical value to marijuana, and you can't do anything of any real value with hemp that you can't do with all these other substitutes like, nylon fibers. You don't need hemp. And now all of a sudden, we got just like 3-4 weeks of hemp legal, and it's like a booming economy because you can make several thousand different products out of this great plant, and it does have medical value. And just in 3 weeks' time, a month's time, we've demonstrated what a multi-billion-dollar industry it's going to be, multi-trillion-dollar industry. And right there, it smacks right into the face of every politician who lied, again, as to what the real reason was behind all the lies.
Well, it's always been a war on people, a social war, and it's been more of a cultural war, really. They spread these rumors, this untruth that marijuana was a deadly drug that caused people to go crazy and kill their family and friends.
Yep.
And a lot of people really believe that stuff. But it's always about fuel and fiber.
Oh, yeah.
We always like to say here on this show.
And
money and power.
We haven't even talked a lot like we want to about the seed. I mean, the products being made from the stem, the stalk, and the flower, and then plus the cottage industries for the lights and the fertilizer that's going to spring up and all the jobs that's going to erupt from this, how it's going to stimulate the economy. And it really is, as we've been saying for a long time, going to move the dollars from the 1% into the hands of the 99%, and it's really going to change a lot of people's path for so many different positive ways.
And of course, we have two initiatives in circulation right now. We got quite a bit of media regarding those initiatives this week. You can go and print those right out on our website, cannabisamendment.org, or our web portal at hemp.org. We're taking your calls this evening about ending adult marijuana prohibition, restoring industrial hemp, and helping medical marijuana patients. So if you have a question or comment for us, you can call us at 503-288-4442. And we do have a caller standing by. Welcome to the show, caller. Hello, caller.
Is that me?
That's you.
Okay. This is Juanita.
Hello,
I'd
Juanita.
like to know. Hi. I love you guys.
Thank you.
I'd like to know, I let my medical marijuana card expire. Is there any way to find a clinic that isn't like over $100 to get another certification?
I can't help you in that regard. I mean, we have a sliding scale at our clinic, but those doctors like to get paid over $1,000 a day, and it's hard to do it.
Yeah, well, they deserve it.
They were in it for the love and for the care of the patient, not for the money.
Is there something that I can do as a public to help move this along to where it's, like you said, hey, alcohol is far more killing a lot of people than even marijuana even thought to.
Yeah.
Is there some way I can help you guys? I mean, volunteer to do something?
Sure. We can use all the help we can get. Just give us a call at 503-235-4606. That's 503-235-4606. Or come down to our office at 2712 Northeast Sandy Boulevard. That's 2712 Northeast Sandy Boulevard. Or you can print out our 2 petitions right on the web if you got a printer at home at hemp.org. That's our web portal. Just click on the little link that says sign the petition, or Initiative 21 and Initiative number 22. And if you're an Oregon resident, you can get other Oregon registered voters to sign. We can certainly use your help.
Right on, hon. What are your office hours there?
9 to 5, Monday through Friday.
Awesome. Keep
But
up
if you
the good
leave a
work.
message, they'll call you back pretty rapidly.
Terrific.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Good day.
Have a good night.
And we do encourage any member of the DEA to call and come in and get their medical marijuana card as well. I've met a few of you guys. You seem a little stressed out.
There's a couple of DEA agents that have come over from the dark side. One of them is working with a dispensary business up in Washington State that was from here in Portland. Another one, his name's Paul Smith. He has started a company called Pro CBD, and he's working with some people that started that company here in Portland. So some of these DEA officers realize that the war on drugs is a failure and have come over to the other side.
And shopping, you know, and being part of his business is good, because when you walk into his establishment, from all their surveillance of your property, they already know what you need. They know the lights you want. They know the fans you're going to need. They're going to need the, you know, right? So.
Well, I don't think they're involved in the ancillary businesses, you know,
okay.
supplying the lights and the fans and all of that. You know, I really think that the wise thing to do is to grow this stuff outside.
Yep.
I mean, it's not as secure. People can come and steal it. You got a big Rottweiler can solve that problem, it's a lot better for our environment if you grow it under the sun. We have another caller. Welcome to the show, caller. Hello, caller.
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
This
He
is
is.
Bobby, and I just kind of thought that it was interesting, the CNBC special that they had on, and the consumables, as well as it was very impressive, their manufacturing plants and even getting the ingredients to go in these pink candy bars.
It is. You know, a lot of them are using some kind of chemical extract. Some people are using, there's just a whole plethora of new products out there. Drinks, candies, food, spaghetti sauce, chili, all sorts of things. All right. I didn't see that program on NBC. Did you?
No.
I didn't either. But I did see Sanjay Gupta this week with his second special on cannabis. He called it Weed 2.
Yeah.
Talked about how it helps all these little kids that have seizure disorders and other conditions. Of course, in the local clinics, we see that a lot. Kids coming from all over the country.
A lot of people like you agree that it's really exciting that he's finally jumped on board, so I will tone down my Johnny-come-lately rhetoric, so be glad that he is leading people into embracing this information.
Well, he says he's not going to back down, he's going to double down.
That's
so
good.
That's a good thing, I think.
Now, if we get somebody to do that in the industrial aspect of this plant, that would be amazing. That might even...
well, that's what I've done for a long time.
Yes,
and
you
we're
have.
going to try to pioneer hemp seed oil production and hemp fiber production here. It's not dependent on the THC level of the plant, but on which varieties of hemp and cannabis produce the best and most quantity of fuel, fiber, and food.
Does our
So stay
state
tuned
government
for
have a clue as to how much revenue they could generate and how many jobs they could create by creating an industry made out of hemp?
No.
Well, we need to educate.
You know, we have a little video here. Yeah, and that's what this show's about. It's all about educating people.
Well, that's good common sense.
That's why we call it Cannabis Common Sense. But we are standing by, ready to show you a video, a little musical. Oh, there's someone here in the studio audience who has a question. So go right ahead, studio audience member.
Well, Paul, I just wanted to share tonight's Cannabis Club Crawl with everyone.
Oh, okay.
We went over to Neighbor Dave's Organics, Relief.
Where's Neighbor Dave's Organics at?
That's down on 13th Avenue in Hawthorne. And they're new. They've only been open 5 weeks.
I see.
But they have some really cool specials, and they are really proud of their Romulan strain.
I see. And so the other ones you went to?
Relief.
Where's that one at?
That's out at 122nd, right past Market. And they have lots of really good meds as well. They've been regular participant of our crawl. So, and then the last one is a new place we went to. That's 50 Trees, and that's over off of Division and 101st. They have a really cool spot. They have a clone room, a glass room, a full medicine room with concentrates. They're known for their ice wax. So it has no solvents in it, which is really neat.
So tell our audience a little bit more about this club crawl. I mean, there are all these things like pub crawls where these buses take you to these different bars and taverns, but the club crawl is for medical patients only, right?
The Cannabis Club Crawl is for OMMP patients and caregivers. They are able to come along on a tour. Basically, we provide transportation for them, snacks. There's onboard entertainment complete with a PlayStation, or they can bring their own music and we'll throw it in there. Then we tour 3 local dispensaries. They give us exclusive tours of their facilities and giveaways. They also contribute to our being able to operate the Cannabis Club Crawl, and they also add in medicine to our raffles, which goes on at the end of the night. And then we come to the show, to Cannabis Common Sense, so we can all get educated and move forward on our campaign to legalize. And if they want to join future club crawls, they can go to facebook.com/CCC.PDX.
Might I suggest 2 Oregon establishments that you might include for the club crawl? At the end of every tour, you should either stop at Voodoo Donuts or Burgerville.
Right. Yes, we do have munchie stops.
Our find your nearest Girl Scout cookie distributor.
Yes. Just saying.
Anyway, thank you. Keep up the good work. If you're interested in participating in that club crawl and you have an Oregon medical marijuana permit, then I guess you can contact that information on your screen and get more information. So, is our video ready? Let's go ahead. Nope, we're having a problem with our video. So it goes. So, they say these permits are going to start getting issued next week for the people who've applied for dispensaries. I guess in the first day, according to the Oregonian, the State of Oregon Health Authority, they had 289 applications in an 8-hour period.
And didn't you say on last week's show that there's only a limited number and it's like
there's about 60,000 patients.
And there's like $5,000 to apply.
$4,000.
And if you don't get it, they give it all back to you but $500.
Yeah.
So the state just made a fat load of cash last week just by saying
$1.3 million
marijuana's legal
in 8 hours.
They haven't even grown the plant. They haven't even given out a license. They just said out loud, marijuana's legal, and they made a couple $100,000.
Well, they made it $1.3 million in 8 hours. They talked about the state of Colorado made $3.5 million in the month of January. Wow. Well, the state of Oregon made $1.3 million in 8 hours from these applicants. But, you know, the $4,000 application fee has to be compared to the $25,000 application fee in Rhode Island. The $40,000 application fee in Arizona, are the $250,000 application fee, non-refundable in a total, in the state of New Jersey. Jeez. So Colorado, our Oregon license fee is a pittance compared to these other places.
Wow, it's like walking into Congress with your wallet open and saying, who can I buy?
You do that? Okay. We have that video ready to roll. We'll be back in just a moment.
I want to tell y'all a little bit about a plant I know that can save the world. It grows long and tall and has flowers that can make your mind swirl. It's a funky plant with a fiber that is resistant to rain and mold. It's the strongest plant fiber known to man, the best rope you'll ever hold. Well, the pioneers covered up the wagon trains with a canvas made of hemp. And Washington and Jefferson grew it on their farms and said to make the most of it. The first stars and stripes were sewn on hemp, the first Constitution too. This is around the world for food, fiber, oil, medicine, and fuel. And if we press its seeds, we won't have no need for any other oil. We can make paints and inks, or run our car, we'll go back next season, it'll fix the soil. The most nutritious seed we can put in our mouth with omega-6 and 3. We can feed the world with the tree of life and live sustainably. But if we cut down all the trees, we won't have nowhere to breathe. We'll grow fields of hemp instead. We can make our paper, build a house from it. It's the goddess plant growing wild and free, living the way that we ought to be. Gonna leave my
also be made into oil or rope. Some people say you smoke it and you feel fantastic, but from hemp you can make an alternative to plastic. Made from plants, not petroleum, you see, so it won't still be around in 4003. It can biodegrade, which means there'll be less pollution. Just another reason for a hemp revolution.
Well, the flowers of the female hemp plant make the best medicines on earth. Helps cancer and AIDS patients eat their food. Helps those with depression overcome the blues. Glaucoma, epilepsy, nausea, insomnia, stress, cirrhosis, psychosis, pain, PMS. All the studies have been done and all the doctors agree, but they can't make money off this plant, you see, because it's free. It grows from a seed, wild and free like we ought to be. You know the future is grown in our own backyards. If we cut down all the trees, we won't have nowhere to be. We'll grow fields of hemp instead. We can make our paper, build a house from it. It's the God's plan, growing wild and free, living the way that we ought to be. Gonna leave my children a better world than my ancestors left me. Whoa, whoa. La 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 la. Whoa, whoa.
In the mid-1930s, it was the billion-dollar crop. With the invention of the decorticator, they could produce it non-stop. But then a smear campaign with Mexicans to blame started making people thinking to make your brain go pop. Yeah, since then it's never stopped. It ain't like getting high for paint and crack rock. Time to bring it back to nature, time to bring back some life. Let the farmers do their job, stop giving them strife. Renewable resources, life-giving forces. Panels for your cars and saddles for your horses. DuPont, Monsanto, making the wrong choices. Suicide genes, extinguishing our voices. Cutting down the trees, polluting the 7 seas. Leaving the fate of the planet to the corporate entities. Corrupt politics, warfare, disease. Now it's time to make a change, it's time to plant seeds.
Hemp is so nutritious, you the oil of seeds. It gives you all the protein you will ever need. You can make it in a sandwich with jelly or jam, or make it in a soap or a lotion for your hands. You can make it into fuel, put it right in our cars, then we won't need the oil and won't have to start wars. You can make it into paper, right, as much as you please, cause it grows like a weed and we won't have to cut trees. So put your faith in hemp, such a versatile plant, and don't let the government tell us we can't, cause hemp can help us all in so many ways, and it doesn't mean that we will all be living in a day. It's versatility, sustainability, look at history, it ain't no mystery, hemp for victory.
If we cut down all the trees, we won't have nowhere to be. We'll grow fields of hemp instead. We can make our paper, build a house from it. It's the God's plan, growing wild and free, living the way that we ought to be. Gonna leave my children a better world than my ancestors left me. Whoa, whoa. La 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 la. Whoa, whoa. So in this modern day and age, when we seem to lack spirituality, this one single plant can bring us back almost 10,000 years in history. To the Shiva, Piranhas, the Jesus, the Christ, to the Buddha, the pagans, the goddess, the light, to commune with all the animals, along with all the trees, to realize the gotta seek is inside me. As the earth is the mother, we gotta take care of the earth, cause the earth is the mother that gives life birth. And we can heal all our relations with a single green plant, and we can start right now.
We got to legalize, we're gonna come alive. All the people who know what's up, gonna say what the heck we letting these suckers get away with it for. Come on and open the door. Are you with me? Are you with me? It's gonna take more than hippies to shut the suckers down. We're not fooling around, but they're keeping us divided, opposite-sided. What do we Americans do? We keep buying it. Black and white, they're making us fight and still in the same racist hatred justifies violence. Their nature's gotta wake up to see the real enemy is the powers that be. From the opposition seat, wake up now to nature's creation. Sacred herb can unite the nations. Gotta legalize the herb of adoration. All of this use is gonna heal the nation. Heal the nation.
All right, those were scenes from our THCF Medical Garden, free cannabis for low-income medical patients. And so, again, if you have a question or comment for us tonight, you can call that number there on your screen. It's 503-288-4442. We'll be taking calls for about another 25 minutes or so.
Well, I don't understand how it is that the state's making all this money and all these people are making money off of these big old businesses and all these taxes. And the activists who changed the laws, who worked really hard to make all of this happen, ain't getting nothing.
Well, you know, I think there's
this start charging for being an activist.
This inverse law of cannabis funding that I brainstormed on earlier this week. And that inverse law is that the better an initiative is for the people, the better the initiative is for the earth, the less money it will raise in terms of donations. So the ones, I mean, you can look at what happened in the election in 2012. You know, there were 3 initiatives that were up for a vote. There was Washington's, Colorado, and here in Oregon.
Right.
Most people agree Washington's was the worst one, and it doesn't allow people to grow anything at all. They can only have up to 1 ounce. If they have 40 grams or more, they're still a felon. It raised $7 million in funding. The Colorado one, it allows a person to grow 6 plants. Thank goodness for that. And the soils are already up and going. It's less restrictive. It does, you know, Washington has this 3-level tax on the farmer, tax on the processor, tax on the retailer. In Colorado, they just have this couple levels of taxation, so it's not as bad. But ours, and they raised $3.5 million for the one in Colorado. Ours in Oregon was the best one. It would have allowed people to grow marijuana without any real limits, as long as it was just for personal use and wasn't for sale. It didn't have, you know, but we got 47% of the vote here in Oregon so that any adult could grow unlimited amount and possess unlimited amounts of cannabis. So it was by far the best one, and it only raised about $500,000, and 95% of that money were paid by patients who came through the THCF medical clinic. You know, so it's really was put on the ballot by patients. So that is a direct demonstration of the inverse law of cannabis funding.
Well, Ed Rosenthal also used to say that if you want to see what the real motive behind an initiative is, look at who's sponsoring it and where the money's coming from. And he felt that that was something that people should have done more closely in Washington, because he felt that the people who were actually funding what happened in Washington really did it kind of like a Trojan horse type of thing. They knew for a fact it was going to be a pie that was going to blow up in people's face.
There was a lot of, it was a very contentious election, especially among our community. I remember at the Seattle Hemp Fest, there were a lot of vehement disagreements and arguments and name calling among activists up there regarding I-502. And it passed. It hasn't been implemented yet, but we still have, if you have 40 grams or more, you're still a felon in Washington State.
Wow.
You only can have up to 1 ounce. If you have over that, you can't even grow 1 plant. I don't think that's right. I think that, you know, our Oregon initiative is the only model yet created that allows cultivation of hemp for fuel, fiber, and food, not with regard to what its THC level is, but with regard to what its productivity and quality of hemp, fuel, fiber, and food is. You know, we shouldn't be cultivating hemp for fuel, hemp for fiber, hemp for food based on its THC level. We should be cultivating it based on whether, you know, for the best attributes for fuel, fiber, and food. And our initiative number 22 now, I'll call it the son of Measure 80, it specifically says that farmers can cultivate hemp without regard to its THC, but based on which varieties produce the most and best fuel, fiber, and food. And I really believe that's going to dwarf the social drug market.
Well, I've got to say, one of the things that has been refreshing, besides when you need the police, you can call them because it's safe. You know, in Indiana, if I call the police and you're breaking in my house, I'm getting arrested too for the pipes and the paraphernalia. Here, I can call the police and they'll show up and do their job. But the politicians in this state seem to be more even-leveled.
Well, you know, the politicians follow the public. Here in Portland, in Multnomah County, we got 61% of the vote. In Portland proper, we got over 63% of the vote on Measure 80, even though we only got 47% statewide. Here in Portland, Multnomah County,
but our
we won in a landslide.
Who's our senator?
There's two. There's in most states, Ron Wyden and Jeff Merkley.
And Wyden is the one that seems to have a real good insight as to how this industry can benefit
You know, the
state.
person who is the best representative, not just here in Oregon, but across the nation for marijuana law reform is Portland's Congressman Earl Blumenauer. Back in 1973, when he was a young legislator in Salem, he voted for the bill that first decriminalized marijuana possession, and now he's leading the charge along with Jared Paulus of Boulder, Colorado, in the Congress to end marijuana prohibition, end the banking restrictions on legal marijuana businesses, and restore hemp. So thank you, Congressman Blumenauer.
Almost as if I had set up a nice opportunity to do that, huh?
What do you know? We have a phone call. Welcome to the show, caller. Hello, caller. Caller?
Oh, it's from the deaf school.
Here, I read in the Oregonian that the city wasn't going to give you a permit. Is that true?
No.
And if so,
no,
what are we going to do?
The city at first turned down our first permit application, and we had to go before the city council for our Hempstock Festival. And the mayor ordered the Parks Department to open up a slot at Portland Waterfront Park to hold our Hempstock Festival. So they have opened up a slot, and we put in an application for 2 different parts of Portland's Waterfront Park in downtown Portland, and we should know sometime later this month exactly what the permit period will be. But the city at first turned down our application, but then the mayor ordered the Parks Department to open up a slot. So we turned in an application a couple weeks ago, and we're waiting for a response.
You know, we could always be a real surprise.
You don't have the dates yet?
Well, we apply, you know, the city is pointing us to September 27th and 28th, which is a Saturday and a Sunday. However, down at the same place the Portland Blues Festival is, which is kind of a bowl. It's good for a stage, but it's not good for disabled people. Our event has traditionally been on the weekend following Labor Day, and so that would be the 7th and 8th of September. And so we are asking, or maybe it's the 6th and 7th, I believe. But we're asking to move over by the Morrison Bridge on September 6th and 7th. But the city had said that they would prefer to see us over on the other side of the Hawthorne Bridge on September 27th and 8th. And so we don't know which date. You know, it looks like we'll probably get the 27th and 8th. We'll be happier, though, if we can go to the flat part of the park instead of the bowl there. And but we'll know more once that permit's issued. But yeah, they turned us down at first. Then the mayor ordered the Parks Department to open up a slot for our Hempstock Festival. And so we're waiting for a response to our reapplication.
I have another question for you.
All right.
Do you mind?
Go right ahead.
I was able to locate some wax at one of the dispensaries, and it has a strong taste of some sort of solvent in it. Is there any way that I can get rid of that taste and still, and wax would still be usable?
I don't think so. I think that right now, you know, the market has not yet been regulated. So right now, all those dispensaries out there, they're in a gray area and they're not really being regulated yet. There are new regulations in place, but the first permits will be issued next Monday. So any dispensary open right now has no oversight and is operating under its own aegis without any real rules that they, you know, any only rules they apply are to themselves. Sometime over the next few months, we'll see dispensaries start to open that are meeting these new testing requirements, and hopefully, you know, they'll start making their products in a little bit more ethical manner.
Well,
I would recommend using it in an edible, probably.
Control.
What's that?
I'm sorry to talk over you. This delay is really distracting.
Well, turn your TV down and just listen to your telephone.
I have my TV muted just for you, Paul.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you.
Anyway, I am concerned about the quality control of some of the things that are out there. And I would like to use more edibles, and I'd like to be more experimental. But I don't know. You know, what are you getting? And there's no controls. Right?
Well, that's the thing. The state is about to impose controls. Oregon will be just the third state in the union that allows controls of the market, and so testing will be required. But those new licenses, the first ones are issued on this coming week. I think on Monday is what I've heard. So hopefully, over the next several months, some of these licensed stores will start to open, and we'll see what happens.
All right. Thanks for your information. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Thanks for calling. Thanks
Bye-bye.
for watching, too. Have a good night. We have a studio audience member who has a comment here. Go right ahead, John.
Dying patient on tomorrow who has some incurable, horrible, hideous lung thing, and because she was misdiagnosed some pharmaceuticals for some heart condition, and we're hoping that some really high-strain CBD oil will help her. I don't have any right now. This woman is dying, and the medical system has thrown her away. Forgive me. And I would like very much, if anyone has any Charlotte's Web or Harlequin or ACDC strain or CBD oil or anything, or wax, I don't care. We need it desperately for this dying person, and the medical system does not know what to do with her, and they basically thrown her away. Dr. Melamede at Colorado University has suggested that we start her vaporizing some kind of concentrate, extract. He recommend RSO would be a good start, and but high CBD is what's needed right now.
Well, I'll donate a little bit of RSO that you made, John. So I'll donate some of that. He's got a little emotional there. If you have a question for us tonight, you can call us at 503-288-4442. Do we have another video ready? Let's go ahead and roll that video, and we'll be back in just a moment. Won't be long now.
Roll that video footage.
Tell them they don't have audio. Somebody else on that audio board, Scott. Nah, that's on the web, I think. There's audio.
No, there's a difference between being high and being stupid. That's stupid. That's not high.
In Colorado, the law legalizing recreational marijuana says the state must regulate marijuana like alcohol. And like alcohol, it can have dangerous consequences behind the wheel. However, unlike drunk drivers, it can be very hard to actually identify a stoned driver. So authorities are launching an offensive, and Colorado police are learning to take a harder look.
Drugs and cannabis.
Keeping Colorado roads safe starts with the latest in training right here in this Denver classroom, where the material sounds more like science than police protocol.
You will be estimating an angle of onset from 30 degrees all the way up to 45 degrees in increments of 5 degrees.
Spotting impaired drivers might not be new, but learning to identify stoned drivers is a work in progress. These state troopers are part of a 9-day course specifically training to spot drivers under the influence of marijuana. In the end, 25 police officers were certified as drug recognition experts, armed with knowledge on how to administer a range of tests at a highway stop.
We're kind of learning along as it goes as far as how much it's affecting people.
Blake White is a sergeant with the Colorado State Patrol. He says he encounters high drivers at all times of day.
There tends to be people that get up in the morning and part of their routine is they smoke marijuana.
Right.
So that's something they do prior to work.
So what are you kind of on the lookout for here?
A thing I like to look for is varying speed. People that are speeding up, slowing down, kind of really just driving erratically in general. Driving is a divided attention task, so marijuana kind of stops that effectively. You can't do it as well.
An officer can do a roadside assessment if he suspects marijuana, but unlike alcohol, it can't be detected with a breathalyzer test. There is a legal limit here, 5 nanograms of active THC in the blood. But the only way to measure if somebody has reached or passed that limit is in a hospital with a blood test.
What's the possibility that other states may follow Colorado because of their experiment?
I think the other states are going to see one key factor: money. M-O-N-E-Y. The governor of Colorado is already estimating that the state will make $140 million extra in taxes, and all the cities that sell marijuana are going to get millions more. And so far, it's been a very calm experience. So why not have a calm experience and put hundreds of millions of dollars in your bank account?
All right, Barry Peterson, great to have you here.
Nice to be here.
Well, the state of Colorado and the police there, I think, are making a mountain out of a molehill. Of course, we do not advocate driving while using marijuana or while high on marijuana. That's not a good idea, but it's not as dangerous as alcohol. But the police, you know, they want more money, so they're trying to build up some hysteria, and so we get crazy, insulting commercials like that. You know,
a couple of things. I remember as I was working in Jack Hare's office, and over the years, you occasionally see where Car and Driver puts out a study saying that they tested drivers under the influence of alcohol, under the influence of marijuana, under the influence of both, and under the influence of none. And every time those people who were drinking did horrible driving, those people who were sober were the second worst drivers, and the best drivers every time were the people who smoked marijuana. You want to find a marijuana smoker who's behind the wheel. It's really easy to do. They're the ones who are driving the speed limit, staying in the lane, not involved with road rage, smiling as they go down the road, and everything on the car is working fine. The lights, the signals are all good to go. And then the other thing in here, they were showing people doing stupid stuff while they were high. I know there's been a couple times in my path in life I've done something really stupid and I've gone, oh, excuse me, I'm high. And Mickey Norris put it very clearly when she said, don't blame stupidity on being high. You didn't do that because you were high, Casper. You did that because you were stupid. And there's a difference. And that's what you're seeing in these ads. They're showing these people behaving stupid. They're not behaving high. So you're right, Paul. These are really insulting not only to my intelligence, to the intelligence of any consumer, to the intelligence of anyone over the age of 9.
Okay. Well, there you saw it. And enough said about that. You know, we currently are circulating 2 petitions. One is a constitutional amendment that will end adult marijuana prohibition and stop putting people in jail for marijuana. The other one is a regulatory bill that will restore hemp for fuel, fiber, and food and raise lots of money for our state government. You can go to our website, print those out, and sign them and mail them in to us. You can come into our office at 2712 Northeast Sandy Boulevard and pick them up, or you can call us at 503-235-4606, and we will be happy to mail you a package of petitions. So we need you to get involved. We need your support. You can donate online. You can help us put this thing on the ballot, because we certainly need that help. And so go to our website, come to our office, give us a call, and help us end adult marijuana prohibition and stop people from going to jail for the most productive plant, the oldest crop cultivated. So we have another fellow who's been supporting us for some time. We're talking about how to incorporate his further assistance into our campaign. We're going to run a little promotion piece that he has done for us. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Willie Nelson, and I urge you to support the Oregon Cannabis Tax Act to regulate marijuana and restore industrial hemp. This initiative will end adult marijuana prohibition and let our criminal justice officers focus limited resources on real criminals and not on marijuana users like me. OCTA will also allow farmers to grow hemp for fuel, fiber, and food to create jobs and help our economy. Please support OCTA. Thank you.
All right. So please support OCTA. Willie wants you to do it. You should do it. So just go to our website, come to our office, give us a call at 503-235-4606, or go right to hemp.org and click on the appropriate link, and it'll get you there. So Casper, your radio network on iHeartRadio is continuing to grow. Tell us about your recent breakthroughs.
Well, we started another program this week called Tripping into Reality with Kevin Korn and a handful of his friends. It's all comedy, and it's going to be bringing a lot of laughs to the network. And next week, I'm pretty excited. Steve Bloom does a show on our network every Friday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard. And one of his friends is going to be stopping by the name of Tommy Chung. So you can check out Tommy Chung live on the network a week from today, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard. Joe Grumbine is going to be bringing his programming to our network as well. And we're going to be starting a new show after next week from Canada, all about growing and horticulture and all the groovy things that can happen when you start sprouting seeds in the dirt. So it's like we're starting a brand new show every week. So yes, we are growing, and we're getting more and more great hosts on the network. And our audience will have the benefit of their knowledge and their path in life. So I'm pretty excited.
All right. Well.
Oh, timeforhemp.com. Shameless plug. Thank you.
And again, I'm just going to push the petition drive and help us with these petitions. You can print those out online and then either mail them or bring them into us. We'll be happy to send them to you. You can call us or drop us an email at those contacts there right on your TV screen. We certainly, we've got about 4 months to go right now, just about 14 weeks. So time's of the essence. Anyway, we are just about out of time here. We've got John Cornett and Jan Sue Hurst standing by in the wings, ready to play an outbound song here. And so I want to remind you that if you are a loved one, need to find a doctor, we can help you find a doctor who can get you a medical marijuana permit as long as you have one of the qualifying conditions. So contact us at 1-800-723-0188. That's 1-800-723-0188. And we will be very happy to help you on that.
And again, I would encourage Eric Holder to call that number and come in and take care of that problem you've got with stress.
Okay. And I want to thank you guys for watching. We're going to let John and Jan Sue play for a little bit here. We'll be back next week. Stay tuned and remember to help us restore hemp. Good night.
Just want to say real quick, I think my use of cannabis has actually helped out the fluoridation problem we have in the city of Forest Grove. With that, I'll just go. Yes, sir.